Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode 209, and it is March the 14th, 2023. So, lots of things to talk about today. So, before I go any further, if you saw my vlog yesterday, you will notice a little error when I first opened up the vlog. I said that the date was March the 13th, 2029. And a few of you that were listening did send me a note to let me know that I had time traveled into the future. Now, I'm not saying that's an impossibility for me, but it should have been 2023. I'm sure you figured that one out. Don't know why I said 2029. Don't need the time to go any faster than it already is. I can tell you that for sure. And just to let you know what kind of day I'm having here. So I got up this morning, got showered, got dressed, all that kind of stuff, went out into the kitchen to make my morning first cup of coffee in my new coffee maker, by the way, which I'm loving, as you know. And I'm looking over at the coffee maker, and I notice I have coffee pouring all over the counter. And my cup looks very, very full. And I'm thinking, wait, these are exactly the same settings I used yesterday. In fact, I can't forget the settings because my coffee maker memorizes them for me. So I push one button and it does what I always do. Yeah, it really helps though, I find. If you put your coffee cup the right side up. I had put my coffee cup, oh, I'm an idiot. I put my coffee cup underneath the spout of the coffee maker upside down. So no, my cup wasn't getting really full. The coffee was pouring all over the counter because there was nowhere else for it to go. It couldn't get in my cup. Yeah, I hope that isn't a sign of what today is going to bring. But anyways, yeah, I'm not the only idiot in my household, though, since I'm on the topic. Really has nothing to do with quilting. But yesterday, Walter had a fun day. He tried to transfer his information on his cell phone to his to an eSIM card, which is a virtual SIM card, from his physical SIM card. And well, long story short, he still has to go to a Bell store because that's our provider and get his SIM card, reactivate it because, yeah, he lost all his information. He can't call out, no one can call in, kind of a thing. And Bell has not been very helpful about that at all, but that's to be expected. So, yes, I know it's a sad thing. He'll get it fixed today. It will work. But in the meantime, do you think I can give up the opportunity to call him an idiot? Yeah. And he accepts that calling because he knows that it was an idiot move. I said to him, why do you want to do that? What was the point? The answer is, I don't know. Thought I'd try it. Yeah. Sometimes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But anyways, let's get on to today, okay? So let's look at what I'm making right now. This is a table runner. I have made one of these before. It's an In the Hoop project. It comes from Sweet Pea Designs. I absolutely love this design because it is definitely reminiscent of a New York beauty and even has a little bit of an Art Deco kind of look to it. I am making this for my brother and my sister-in-law. I'm taking it out west. They're in Abbotsford, BC. When I go there next month. And yeah, I made them one earlier, if you remember, and it was in different colors. And well, I like that one so much, it's sitting on my dining room table right now. And so I thought I'll make them a second one. So I did change the color scheme. I went into my stash to get these fabrics, and then I decided, well, I think I should make 4 matching placemats as well. So I am working on those now. Problem was, on the weekend, I discovered that I probably didn't have enough of this fabric to make 4 placemats. So I scoured the internet looking for, and here's a picture of the placemats that I'm talking about. That's one of them. I'm scouring the internet looking for this particular fabric. And I found it in Alberta, but I really didn't want to wait to get that order. I looked at local quilt stores They didn't have it. And, you know, I bought this fabric last fall in New Hamburg, Ontario, at a place called Design something, or By Design. That is a really cool quilt store. A lot of their fabrics are very modern. But anyways, I digress. I did find it online for a store about 40 minutes north of me. So off we went to that store. It's called Appleseed Quilt Works. I have reviewed them some time ago here on my channel. And yep, they had that, and they had actually the whole line. Their internet page did not show the whole line, but I was able to grab what I wanted. Kind of took the store by storm because these two guys walk in, and I don't think the person waiting on me, who turned out to be the owner of the store, was really expecting two guys to suddenly know exactly what they want. I had my cell phone out. I said, "This is the fabric I'm looking for." She wasn't even sure where it was in the store, but she helped look. But we found all of it that I wanted, and then some. And so 300 and some odd dollars later, I had all the fabric that I need and a little bit more. And you know, I don't think I gave that particular store, online store, a great review when I did review it, and I'm going to rescind that review. I met the owner, as I said, and we had a really nice conversation. I heard about the history of her store and she happened to be a retired school teacher. She's been retired a couple of years more than myself. And she opened this store after she retired in order to do something because her husband was still working. So I really, her prices are a little bit on the higher side. Like this fabric was like almost $20 a meter. But they had a really good selection of fabric and lots of other things as well in the store, and she was absolutely lovely. I had a bad taste the first time I ever went to that store, like over a year or more ago, and it was not this lady, the owner, I dealt with. I dealt with one of the employees, I guess, and I don't know, maybe she was having a bad day or something, but yeah, it didn't leave a very good taste in my mouth, so to speak, at that time. But since then, I will go back there because although it's a little bit more pricey, meeting the owner and that just, you know, made it all worthwhile for me. Now, looking at this placemat, the placemat looks a little wonky here. It's not, again, it's the way the angle I took the picture. There is some quilting in it. If you look very closely, it's just straight line walking foot. And I used Invisifil. And the reason I used Invisifil is basically I wasn't using the quilting for any more than to hold the layers together. There is some quilting already in the blocks that what am I trying to say? The embroidery machine does on those blocks as well. I'm just using the straight line walking foot quilting just to hold the layers together. As I said, adds a little texture. I did take a picture of the back, but the Invisifil gives a really neat effect because there really isn't any color to the Invisifil. It sort of absorbs the color of whatever you are stitching on. And I've got a real great new appreciation for this line of thread. I've been using it a little bit more lately. It is great when you're doing stitch in the ditch. Because, you know, you never get right in the ditch, do you? But if you go a little bit on either side of the ditch, it doesn't show up. Well, you can see it if you really look, but it doesn't stand out, and I didn't want it to stand out. So I have 3 more of these to make, and I think I may make some matching napkins, and I may even make some 3D printed napkin rings to go with it too. So it's going to be a whole set of stuff. So that is what I'm concentrating my efforts on at the moment. I'm also concentrating my efforts, speaking of 3D printing stuff, on this little guy. I am making, well, this is a scrap bag holder. It sits on the edge of your table or wherever, and you drop your, you know, trim threads, scraps of fabric into this bag, you know, right at your desk. Now, there are all kinds of versions of these kind of things out there, you know. But this is my version. Of course, it has gnomes on it. And with the exception of the bag itself, it's all 3D printed. I'll show you another angle here. So you can see there's a little base for it that the gnome pincushion sits on. And the little cup there as well is all part of that. It's for, keeping your clips or whatever as you work. The little block that the gnome is sitting on is a two-part thing. It has a lid, and I pour sand inside of it, and then I seal the lid on it with E6000 glue, so it's not going anywhere soon. And that gives me enough weight for this to sit on the edge of your table. And as an extra little bonus, and I don't have a picture of it, I put a little pad of that rubbery shelf lining pad stuff you can buy at the dollar store. It's glued on the bottom, so that keeps it from, if your surface is a little bit slippery, it keeps it from sliding off the edge. So the bag itself, let's go back to it. I just made a box cornered little bag, and I have a piece of Velcro sewn into the top of it, and the other piece of Velcro is glued to the edge of that little box, and so that bag just hangs on that. When you want to dump it, you can just pull the bag off easily enough because of the Velcro and dump your bag and start all over again. I did a little bit of wavy line quilting on the bag, and the bag, to keep it open, it has, and you see here how it stays open, I lined it or used a layer of stabilizer, Pellon Deco Bond in there, and that's just heavy enough to keep the bag opened. And I did line the bag as well, and I embroidered a little gnome with scissors on the front of it. I think it's really cute, and I'm making a whole bunch of these. Why? Because in December I am off to Georgia to Stephanie Stitch's retreat at New Year's time, and I intend to make one of these for each of the people at the retreat as a little gift. It's Christmas time kind of a thing, and so yeah, that's what I'm doing. These take a long time to make. The little gnome with the pincushion and little tray, that one takes about a day to print, and the block that he's sitting on takes about 20 hours to print, and then I have to make the bag. So this is an ongoing production line. So if you hear a little slight beep or something in the background of this video today, it's because my printers are going, and my printers have been going, all three of them, 24/7, because I'm also making some other things which will remain a bit of a secret for quite a while now, that take even longer to print. So my machines are all behaving the way they should be. And yep, I figure by Christmas I will have enough of these made. And then I'll be so sick of them. Because I have other projects I want to work on too. So yep, that's what I've been up to. And yeah, that's enough of that at the moment. Okay, so what else has been happening? Well, I did some more retail therapy last Friday. I went off to Ultimate Sewing, and I just felt like buying some fabric. Do I need it? No. But do you ever have enough? No. And even though I shop my stash on a regular basis, I never have exactly the fabric that I want for something. But what I did was, okay, sometimes, don't you need a little retail therapy. And okay, here's a trick to trick myself, to get myself over the retail therapy when I feel that way. I'll go online to a particular online quilt store I like. In this case, I went to Ultimate Sewing, which is my local quilt store, and I went through their entire listing of fabrics that they have available. I think there were 32 pages. And when I saw something that caught my eye, I drop it into my cart and move on. Then, at the end of all of that, I go to my cart and I look at how much I have in there. And I think it was $500 worth of fabric. And then I deleted my cart. I had my retail therapy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're nuts. Yeah, I am. But you know what it does? I don't really need those fabrics. So it got it out of my system there, especially when I saw the price. Okay. But it wasn't enough. So off I went to Ultimate Sewing because I did see these fabrics online and I wanted to get them. So we were over there. I wanted to actually pick up, I went in to get some Decker Bond because I needed some more of that, as I said, for those bags I'm making with the scrap bag gnome holder thing. And I had noticed online they had this Pride fabric. Now, I do not have a plan for it, but I bought it anyways. I got a couple of meters of the one that says Pride and Love, and then one with the flags on it. And then I saw this other fabric that was there as well, which kind of goes with it. So I picked up a couple of meters of it as well. I may make a Pride quilt this year. I'll see, or banner or something like that to hang on my front door during Pride Month or whatever. We'll see. And then, of course, you know how I love fat quarter bundles and pre-cuts. Well, I found this fat quarter bundle by Stonehenge called Surfaces, and well, it looked nice, and I love Northcott fabrics. And this comes from the Stonehenge line, and I love the Stonehenge line. So yeah, no plan for this one yet, but I have it, and I'll have to look through my selection of patterns that are fat quarter friendly and see what I can come up with. Remember I told you I had all those plans for making what I was going to make this year? You know, a priority list? Yeah, that's gone out the window. Which I figured it probably would. Okay, so what's coming up? All right, tomorrow, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we have Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. All are welcome. It's about an hour and a half of we're just going to sit and sew, talk, whatever. And while I'm talking about Stephanie and Stephen, I want to also remind you, those of you that took part in the sew along we did a few weeks ago, that if you have finished your quilt that we did for that, and when I mean finished, I mean completely finished. It's all quilted. It is bound. There it is. Take a picture of it, one picture only, please, and send that along to me. And Stephanie and I are going to do a little trunk show of those ones that come in. Now, you have to send it to me, though, by March the 18th, which is coming up very quickly. That's Saturday. Now, don't despair. I don't want you to feel pressure. If you don't get your quilt done by then, it's not a biggie. All right, you can send it to me anytime when it's finished, and I will feature it here on the Idiot Quilter as a subscriber's quilt of the week. So there you go, 2 opportunities. So if it's done by the 18th, send me a picture of it by the 18th, and Stephanie and I will be doing a trunk show with it. But if you don't, you get it done at some other time in the year or whenever, send it along when you do get it finished, and I'll feature it here on the blog. And Pop-Up Sew Day. We are having a Pop-Up Sew Day this coming Saturday, March the 18th, starting at 8 a.m. and running until approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It is in honor of one of my regular subscribers and friend, Jan. It was her request that for her birthday, she wanted a Pop-Up Sew Day. So it's her birthday. We're having a Pop-Up Sew Day. Not that I really need an excuse to have a Pop-Up Sew Day, but yeah, that's what we're having it. So maybe we can call it Jan's Birthday Bash Pop-Up Sew Day. So that, as I said, is this coming Saturday, March the 18th. There is a link for it in the show notes below, and those of you on my mailing list for Pop-Up Sew Day have already received in your email box your invitation and the link as well. So hope to see many of you there. And don't feel that you have to necessarily, I know that for you out in the West Coast, it would be like 5 o'clock in the morning for when we start. Don't worry about that. You can pop in and pop out anytime during the day, whatever suits your schedule. Okay. And new people are welcome. Always welcome. All are welcome. Not a sewer, not a quilter, but you're a crafter or a creator of some sort, you're welcome to use that time to work on whatever you want to work on. Okay, And let's talk about the retreat. Now, many of you have probably already seen the special announcement about the Idiot Quilter Spring 2023 retreat. This happens on Saturday, May the 6th. It's an all-day affair. Starts at 8 o'clock, runs till about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It is absolutely free, but you do need to register for it to reserve your spot. It's a Zoom thing, and I have a license to handle 100 people on Zoom. And technically speaking, I only handle about 92 because I have to save spots for my guest speakers. Yes, there are guest speakers. And I need a few spots reserved for Walter and myself as well. There's a lot of technology that goes in behind one of these retreats. I'm on 3 different computers that day. Yeah, I don't usually get any sewing done. I'm usually managing things. But it's a lot of fun. I love doing them. People that have been to them, I think this is going to be about number 4, number 5 that I've had. I usually do them twice a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. And everybody has a great time. And there are prizes as well at this. So if you are planning to attend it, well, let me put it this way. If you snooze, you lose. Because I only announced it yesterday, and there's a special video, and there's a link in the show notes below for that video that tells you everything you need to know. So I highly recommend that you watch it. It runs about 10 minutes. There's also a link to a PDF document that basically puts in writing everything I say in that video. So there's a link for that in the show notes too that you can go to. And basically to register, all you need to do is send me an email. My email address is in the show notes below. It's becoming what do they call it? A mantra right now. Anyways, that is there. And yeah, all you need to do is send me an email stating your name, full name. I need your first name and I need your last name, and I need real names, please. I'm not going to do anything with that information in terms of giving it out to other people or anything like that, so don't worry, it's protected. But I need that to know that you're legit. And I need the email address that you wish me to communicate with you, because there will be some updates and things that will be coming out as we get closer to the date. So I don't want you to miss out on those, because I'll be sending those out to people who are registered. They will not be general emails or anything like that. Okay. So that's all I need from you. Just write me, yes, I want to be part of the retreat. Here's my name, first and last name. Here's my email address. Thanks very much. And I will put you on my list, and I will send you an acknowledgement that you are on the list. Now, I said, I know it's not till May the 6th, and that seems like a bit of a ways away, and it is. But here's what's happened already. I can handle 92. I have, as of this moment in time right now, this morning, Tuesday, March the 14th, I have 50 people registered already. It is filling up fast. So decide for yourself that May the 6th works for you, and you can come and be here. Now, having said that, and I do talk about this on the video, if by chance life happens along the way and you're already registered for the retreat, but you know you can't make it, please, as soon as you know that, send me an email telling me that, so I can open it up for people that may be on my waiting list. Yes, I will establish a waiting list once it fills up, and I'll put people on that list, and as people drop out for one reason or another, I will fill their spot with someone from the waiting list, and I'll do it in the order that they come into me. Okay? Please don't do what has happened in the past. I have had people on the day of who registered for this and didn't show up for whatever reason. They did not let me know, and they never even after the fact sent me an email, you know, basically say, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. This happened right at the last moment when I was going to sign on, and I couldn't do anything about it. That's common courtesy, which I kind of talked about on Stephen and Walter Live the other day, if you saw that. I do have a list of names of those people who have done that in the past. They never, ever acknowledged that they didn't show up or didn't send me an apology or anything or say why, which meant that I had a spot or a few spots available that I could have put people on the waiting list on. But because I didn't know, yeah, those people are on my blacklist. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but they are. They do not get an invitation. If they pop in and they try to register for this one, then I immediately put them on the waiting list and I put them at the bottom of the list. I think you know what I'm talking about. Okay, enough said. So check out the video. It's on there. The link is below. And like I said, it's filling up fast. Okay, so let's move on to what we want to talk about next. What do we want to talk about? Oh, I did a little video clip here showing you how I store my fabric. This week I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I store my fabric, and I'm really not doing anything revolutionary, and I often revisit this and start all over again when I find better ways to do it. But basically what you can see here is I have a bookshelf, and on this bookshelf is all my major pieces of fabric. These are usually anything that's more than 1 meter in size, and all I do is I wrap them around a comic book board to give them a little bit of stiffness, and I sort of have them organized across the color spectrum, as you can see, reds and pinks and yellows, then greens, and into blues and purples and into prints and colors. I don't really stick to this very rigidly, and here I have a special section and I labeled it on the shelf as my Christmas fabrics and my indigenous fabrics as well. Now, below all of those, I have these little plastic drawers, and I keep pretty much fat quarters in them or specialty fabrics. Like you can see in this one, it's labeled Australian fabrics. And if I pull it out, you can see my Australian fabrics, some miscellaneous ones, solids, African fabrics, flannel fat quarters, solid and blenders. And then I have a few baskets here for things that I just can't fit anywhere else. And there's one that has a lot of partial jelly rolls, and then some jelly rolls here as well, and then some fat quarter bundles as well. Aren't those pretty? I haven't even opened them up yet. I'm saving them for something special. So then I have some drawers under my cutting mat right here, and I just recently reorganized these. And you know, I never have enough space. So if you go down, I have one drawer that has battleizer in it, and this drawer, odd pieces of white fabric. Over here are my fat quarters though, and I have about 3 drawers of these. And this is the IKEA Alex drawer units. And here's a tip. If you want to get more space in an IKEA drawer unit, there's a couple of clips, I don't know if I can show them here, somewhere along here, that if you take the screws out, you'll be able to pull your drawer all the way out. And that gives you about 1/3 more space. Now I can't get it back in. Yeah, of course. I've got one hand here. Okay, let me just put this down. Okay, I got the drawer back in. Now, like I was saying, what I did was I took those clips out, and that gives me about 1/3 of space that you couldn't access before. Of course, you got to be careful when you pull out your drawer that you don't pull it right off the track, but it does give you a little bit more space. And here's another drawer of fat quarters. And you know, my biggest problem is trying to keep these drawers neat. I get them all set up, and then, you know, as time goes by, you start mixing things up a little bit. And more fat quarters. These are not actually fat, well, it's kind of a mixture of fat quarters and things like that. And these are my charm packs, all down the bottom. Now I have a few drawers that have larger pieces of fabric in them, like this drawer, which are odd bits and pieces I don't know what to do with. Now, what do I do with my scraps? Well, let's go over here, and under here, this pile, which is a bit of a mess, I have 2 baskets. These are just scraps, various sizes. And this other one buried in here are all strips. Yeah, they need to be organized again. That's a big problem. How do you organize your scraps? I know some people put them in baggies by color lot. Some people, you know, they cut them into pieces, like 2.5-inch squares or rectangles or something like that, usable pieces. I've said I'm going to do that, especially now that I have an AccuQuilt system. I could do it, but I really don't feel the need at the moment to do that. But I do have a lot of scraps that should be organized. So that is essentially how I do my fabric. There are probably better methods, but this is working for me right now. And as I said, every now and then I revisit it and reorganize it. And that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week. And this week's lovely creation comes from Lucy Badley. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly or not, Lucy. I'm sorry about that. But this is actually the last one I have right now in my collection of quilts to show. So watch this video and we'll come back to this point. This week's subscriber's quilt comes from Lucy Badley. I'm not sure if I said Lucy's last name correctly, and I'm sorry if I didn't. But here is her beautiful quilt made with Kafe Facet fabrics, and this is what she has to say about it. I attached a picture of a quilt I made a few years ago. I hope you like it. I made it with Kafe Facet's collective materials. The instructions in the book Simple Quilts were somewhat vague, but luckily I had enough experience to manage. I also made the quilt larger than the pattern. I free motion quilted it on my Juki TL following my nose. I outlined each diamond just inside the border and then meandered within. It's holding together really well on our sofa and has been washed many times. Many thanks for your entertaining channel and best wishes to Walters. Yours sincerely, Lucy. Well, Lucy, this is spectacular. I love anything Kafe Facet because I love the bright, bold colors. And this quilt really does show off those fabrics very, very well. I can't really see the quilting in this picture that you sent me, but as you said, you outlined the diamonds, and that must have been really, really tricky and time-consuming. But it looks like you've done a wonderful job. Not only does it look like it, but I know you have. And I love the binding that you also made from Kafe Facet fabrics as well. So overall, this is a very beautiful, beautiful quilt, and you should be very proud of it. And I hope when people come to your home and see this quilt on your sofa that they ooh and ah, because I certainly am. Thanks, Lucy. So as I said, that's the last one I have in my collection. So if you would like one of your quilts to be featured on here, please send it to me. One picture is enough, and give me a little blurb about it. Doesn't need to be any more than 50 words, 50 words or less. And I will be happy to feature your quilt on an upcoming episode of the Idiot Quilter. Okay, that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week, and this one's called Treasure Heart Creations. This week's YouTube video is Treasure Heart Creations, and this is a site that I came upon by chance, the way I find most of my sites, and I kind of liked the different things they had on here. They had a lot of tutorials making some very classic blocks, like the Lemoyne Star, an improv log cabin, funky flower applique, curved log cabin block, courthouse steps, bargellos, something called a confusion block, which sounds really interesting. So there's a lot of really interesting things on here, and I have found that the videos are fairly clearly produced. So if you go to the playlists, we can see how they're organized. Only about 4. There's scraps, strings, strips, and crumbs. So you want to, it's a quilt along, but it probably has some great ideas about how to use up your stash of scraps. They had a Christmas quilt along, get your sojo back, and with little projects, and 52 blocks in 52 weeks. So if you're looking for something that you can follow for a while on your own schedule, that might be something for you as well. So I think there is a nice variety of videos on here. It looks very, very interesting, very inspiring, and very helpful as well. So check out Treasure Heart Creations. Now, what do I have laying around here for a future project? Well, this is one. It's a free pattern. It's to make a bag. It's the Min-Charm Bag by Moda. I have a link to the pattern in the show notes below, and I ran into a little problem when I made this the first time. Stephanie Stitches made this, and that's where I saw it. And I made one version, but I did a couple of things wrong, and I want to remake it and do it right because I think it's a really cute little bag, and it's a great way to use up scraps as well. I mean, yes, you can use a mini charm package for this, but you could use your scraps as well. But here's the pattern. I keep telling myself that I want to get back into making some bags and project bags and things like that, and I never get around to it. But this might just be the one for me. This is called the Nantucket Min-Charm Bag, and it's by Motive Fabrics, and it's a free pattern, and it looks really nice. Now, of course, they're advertising a particular fabric line that they sell, but you could make it out of anything. But I think it's very sleek and can look, with the right fabric, very, very elegant. So they give you all the instructions here, and I have read through them, and it looks pretty easy to do with this. Basically, you can put any fabric you want together. Now, I'm going to let you in a little secret. I already made this once already, and I blew it. I had a little problem understanding how to put the bag, or the zipper, into the bag. Now, I've done zippers and bags before, but for some reason I got screwed up on this one. So I'm going to revisit this and try it again. It's not a very large bag. In fact, I think this first picture on the cover is a little misleading. It looks a little bigger there than it actually is in reality. However, having said that, I think you could adapt it to a little bit of a bigger design. Now, I did discover also, if I can find it here, there looks like there is a YouTube tutorial for this as well from the Quilted Forest. So if we just go here,
Hi, Quilter.
Yep, there it is. So that is something I didn't realize when I made it the first time. So next time I will definitely go back to this. So this is a neat one. The link for the free pattern is in the show notes below. You might want to check it out. So, do I have an interview this week? Darn tootin', I do. And this is an interview with Abby Henderson of Purple Cottage Crafts. Now, this is a little different interview. Usually my interviews are about sewing and quilting. This one is about crafting, but it's also about textile art and, using antique fibers and things to create beautiful creations. And Abby does this so well. And she's a fascinating person. Her creations are absolutely inspiring and absolutely lovely. And I think even if you don't want to make a journal or something like that, I think there's some really cool ideas that Abby talks about here that could be incorporated into quilts. So here's a little teaser with Abby right there that you want to show us.
I do. I have some samples because I wasn't sure if a lot of your viewers would, because I'm not like a proper quilter, but I still do like fabrics and stuff like that. So I shared with you that my first love is paper. So I still incorporate paper into my things. This is just a quick sample. I can't tell if the light's okay or not. People
Yeah,
see it okay.
that's good. We can see that.
Okay, so this is like, different copy dye, blah, blah, blah. Most of the things that I make, I sell or I'm commissioned to make. So I don't have a lot of things that I've made that I really love because I sell them, that kind of a thing. So, but like this has like vintage papers on the front, but always has fabric and stitching. And some of the, there's a subscription I subscribe to with Lisa Maddock. She lives in, well, she's Canadian too. And no, is she Australian? No, she's Australian, sorry. Yep. And so she has this subscription where you can get vintage fabrics once a month. And she goes to France and literally gets the fabric. So this is kind of some of the stuff I like to do too. So these are the vintage fabrics that she includes. I never cover the backs because I think I love the backs. My backs are messy and that's okay because I can hide stitches, but I'm not about that. It's not perfection or whatever for me.
So there is a link to the full interview in the show notes below. So do check it out, and do check out Abby's YouTube channel, Purple Cottage Crafts. You won't be disappointed. Okay, So that takes me to online quilt stores. And this week, this one comes, I believe they're in the East Coast, outside of Fredericton, New Brunswick, called the Quilting Shed. This week's online quilting store is in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and it is called the Quilting Shed. And I will be in Fredericton in June, so I may check this out. But let's first of all check out their online store. So this is their front page, and it looks like they have what's new in their store. The Something Blue is called. This is called. Then they have their shop by category. So they've got bag making supplies, batting, books, cutting tools, fabric, marking tools, needles, notions, rulers, and thread. And then they have a newly arrived section showing you everything there and what they have on sale as well. And some bestsellers. And it looks like they have a little intro video as well. So let's pop up to the top and let's see, shop for fabrics here. So fabric, batiks, backing fabrics, flannel, patterns, notions, pre-cuts, panels, batting. Okay. They look like they only have batiks. That seems a little weird. No, backing, batik, flannel. Something Blue is a line. New Leaf Military, okay. Got a lot of stuff over here on the right hand side that looks really confusing. Tags. Okay, lots of pages of fabric. But the organization of this is not great. I guess you can click on these and find what you want. So if you want like Art Nouveau, okay, a little different way of finding fabrics on a website. I haven't really seen that, but in some ways that might be easier to, figure out what you want. Well, let's check out their prices. Looks like they sell it by the quarter meter, and it's $4.25 per quarter meter. So that would make it what, $17? $17 a meter. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good price. And by the looks of things, I think all their fabric is like this. Let's just go back and check the batiks, because batiks tend to be a little bit more expensive. Oh, not here, they're not. They're even cheaper. $3.75 per quarter meter. So that's $15 a meter for batiks. That's a really good price. And they look like they have a fairly good selection as well. Okay. Fabric isn't bad. It's a little different from what I was expecting in how you would look for these things, but here you go. You have all these tags. So if I was looking for cats, let's click on cats. Whoa, even cheaper, some of their prints. So looks like there's some bargains here to be had if you want to do a little bit of shopping around. So what else do they have? Patterns. Well, let's check out their pattern selection. Yep, they've got Bags by Annie patterns here. Quite a few of them. And their prices on patterns are pretty good. And they seem to have 223 results. Let's just pick in the middle here. Let's see what it comes up with. Anything? Yes, there we go. So it looks like they've got a really extensive collection of patterns as well at fairly reasonable prices. So that's good. I am becoming rather impressed by this. Notions, rulers, bag making supplies, cutting tools, marking tools, needles, and thread. Let's check out the thread. Oops, lost it. See what brands of thread they sell. Micro Quilter thread cone, $18. I have never heard of Micro Quilter, so I know nothing about this thread. Is that the only brand that they sell? It looks like it might be. Oh no, they have Aurifil. Okay. Aurifil, $12. Not a lot. They only have white and black. And one's in a huge cone for $69, and the other looks like the regular size. Well, they have another huge cone. Yeah, they have Glide. $19.50. That's a little on the pricey side. Oh, here we go. Aurifil 50 weight large thread, $16. That's about average price. So that's pretty good. Okay, so far, I'm enticed. Let's check out the pre-cuts. Here we go. Pre-cuts. So what do we got? We've got fat quarters, layer cakes, charm packs. They've got, again, a fairly good selection, 74 in their results. So there's something here, and prices are about average. So that's okay as well. Yeah. Panels, books, batting. Okay, let's check out their batting. Okay, it's in pre-bags. Do they sell any of it by the meter? $4 a quarter meter for Hobbs 80/20. So that's $16 a meter. That's about average price. They have Hobbs Natural 100% cotton, 96 inches wide per quarter meter. So you can buy some of it by the meter. So again, prices are not unreasonable. Anything else we need to check out here? Well, they have interfacing, they have books. I don't know. Books. Some people still like books. I find books passe. I'd rather download patterns and things from the internet in PDF format. A lot of the ones that you've seen before, but there's 56 of them. So again, there might be something there for you as well. They have a blog and how to contact them. Now, I'm wondering about their shipping prices. Let's go up here. They do have a section on shipping. Shipping charges are a flat rate of $19.95 Canadian. There's free shipping on purchases totaling $150 or more before taxes. They don't say anything about whether there's a different shipping price for the United States and whether or not they really do ship to the United States. But that's a little high. But if you can get free shipping out over $150, it wouldn't take me long to add up to $150 or more. So yeah, so that's okay. So overall, I think this is a place that's really worth checking out. Now, are they only online? I don't know. Did we find that? Just going down. Oh, there they are, the Quilting Shed. They're in Hanwell, New Brunswick. So I looked this up under Fredericton. I'm not sure where Hanwell is in relationship. I'd have to look on a map because at the start of this, it did say Fredericton, New Brunswick. So maybe that's a suburb of Fredericton or very close to Fredericton. I don't know. But I think I'll put this on my list of stores when I'm in Fredericton to check it out if it's not too far away. And that brings me to the end of this week's Idiot Quilter episode. But just before I go, some reminders. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March the 15th at 9 a.m. So with Stephanie and Stephen. Come and join us if you can. Don't forget about those of you that were part of the sew along to send your picture of your finished quilt to me by March the 18th for our little trunk show. And of course, do check out the information that I have provided in the little video for my Idiot Quilter Spring 2023 retreat, which takes place on May the 6th. Remember, if you snooze, you lose. You want to go? Tell me. Quickly. Soon. Okay. Have a great week. Make something exciting for yourself and maybe even try a little retail therapy if you need it. Use my trick. See you later. Bye-bye.